Are you sure that Amber Heard was demonized? Or did Amber Heard not have enough evidence? They suppressed evidence, because what evidence do you have that they suppressed evidence? Like, hello, welcome back to the channel for another flipping banger court session. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about Elaine's interview, okay? I kind of watched that interview a little bit, and then I realized how bad it was. Then I decided, my honest reaction for the rest of it would be pretty important. So I did actually post a community tab that said we'll go live tonight, but I'm not sure how feasible that is. So I'm recording this video. We can talk about it later, or you can drop down below in the comments your opinions.
First question, how is Amber doing? We saw her hearing that verdict. It took a long time to read. It was Johnny Depp. How did she handle it?
You know, one of the first things she said is, I am so sorry to all those women out there. This is a setback for all women in and outside the courtroom. And I
have something to say about this. If you are a victim of anything like this, please let me know your thoughts down below. I'd like to know, because I'm not, so I really can't speak to that. But I think a victim of domestic violence would want justice for themselves first before anyone else. I can't imagine being hurt and all I'm thinking about at the end of that pain or during that pain is other women all over the world. I would think this would be more personal to her rather than about the millions of women out there.
She feels the burden of that.
Well, knowing the case and knowing the law as you certainly do, it favors the defendants like Amber Heard. Are you stunned that the jury essentially rejected her story?
Well, really what happened here is it's a tale of two trials. Johnny Depp brought a suit in the UK for the same case, and the burden of proof was easier for him there. The son had to actually prove that it was true, and the court found there, and we weren't allowed to tell the jury this, but the court found that Mr. Depp had committed at least 12 acts of domestic violence, including sexual violence, against Amber. So what did Depp's team learn from this? Demonize Amber and suppress the evidence. We had an enormous amount of evidence that was suppressed in this case that was
Y'all, I think Amber is very unprofessional, okay? I'm not a lawyer yet, but I find that after a case, right, would you go and talk about the opposing side like this? Probably not. You would be like, okay, that was unfair, or, we're gonna appeal, that's about it. You're not gonna go and demonize the other side and say they suppressed evidence, because what evidence do you have that they suppressed evidence? Like, or they keep talking about this enormous amount of evidence or mountains of evidence that they had, but I did not see as much evidence as they're talking about. Or maybe it was suppressed, right? Like they are saying. But like I said, instead of being a bit like with what she's saying, you could very much easily say, no, we were not able to present all the evidence that we wanted to the jury, and like that's it. You don't gotta go and be like Johnny Depp's lawyers learned from the England lawsuit how to do this one.
in the UK case. In the UK case, when it came in, Amber won, Mr. Depp lost.
But here's the thing, you were able to get some evidence that you say demonstrated abuse. You certainly had her testimony. There were pictures, documents, all kinds of evidence. But in point of fact, the jury rejected it. You argued in your closing arguments that if they found even one instance of abuse, and it did not even have to be physical abuse, that they would have to find for Amber Heard, and they didn't.
And the other part to bear in mind here is nothing changed. The op-ed didn't even mention Mr. Depp by name. And so what?
I have no idea why they're still using this argument, because it's only common sense that you are talking about him because of having came out in 2016 and literally accuse him of the things that you did. It makes logical sense that the article would have been about him. Not only that, on the stand, Amber did go ahead to say that it was, in fact, about Johnny Depp.
basically they did here is demonize her. And they were able to suppress the medical.
Are you sure that Amber Heard was demonized? Or did Amber Heard not have enough evidence suggesting the allegations that she brought forth? Y'all let me know down below in the comments.
Records, which were very, very significant because they showed a pattern going all the way back to 2012 of Amber reporting this to her therapist, for example. We had significant amount of texts, including from Mr.
I have a question, right? I don't know how the laws in the state that they're in work, you know, but I have a question. If someone reports abuse, right? Like, I don't know what the therapist laws are. If your client reports abuse to you, don't you have some sort of obligation to report it, especially when you think their life is in danger, especially since Amber Heard said her life was in danger? So would that make her like, y'all answer that question below. Answer that question.
Depp's assistants saying, when I told him he kicked you, he cried. He is so sorry. That didn't come in.
Is there any other way to interpret this verdict, though, that this jury, for whatever reason, and I hear you on some of the evidence that they didn't hear, listening to Amber Heard, did not believe a single word?
You know, and that's because she was demonized here. A number of things were allowed.
Again, Elaine, is it because she was demonized or is it because you are incompetent? Like, I'm sorry, the jury had the evidence that was brought forth and the facts that you all brought forth. Could it be that, Elaine, you did not do a great job? Elaine, you couldn't even ask a question properly. Like, how is this that Amber was demonized? You both brought your case forward. You both argued your case. It just so happened that your side was not strong enough to guarantee the win that you wanted. Could that be the case? I do not understand why that could not be the case. I don't get it. I don't get it.
In this court that should not have been allowed. And it caused the jury to be confused. We weren't allowed to tell them about the UK judgment. So the damages is completely skewed. There are no damages. It stopped at November 2, 2020, which is when the judgment came down in the UK.
Let me ask you about social media in this case. Unlike any celebrity case, certainly I've ever covered or ever seen, social media was a part of this. And it was incredibly lopsided and vitriolic against Amber Heard. Do you think that had an effect on the case? Absolutely. Do you think jurors were aware of it? They weren't supposed to be.
Okay, I wish I could go back into those hours of evidence, because was it not Elaine who brought forth the fact that public opinion thought Amber Heard was a liar? Who brought social media into this? Last time I recall, it was Amber's team.
Every single day. Don't look at it. Do you think they did see it?
How can you not? They went home every night. They have families. The families are on social media. We had
now, this is something that I actually didn't know, because in Canada, it's a very different system. Whole time I was thinking the jurors like stay in like this one place. They don't see anything. They don't have phones. I'm sorry, y'all know where I stand, but I gotta tell you the truth. There is no way that the jurors were not influenced by this. If you went home, you had access to your phone. We can't act dumb, okay? It doesn't matter what side I'm on. In fact, I'm not even on anybody's side, honestly, because I don't know these people personally, so I'm not on anybody's side. It's who has the most evidence, who seems like was hurt the most, based off the evidence that we do have. And it seems to be Johnny Depp. But that does not mean that that's true, because a lot of the time in criminal proceedings, civil lawsuits, whatever it is, right? It's not who is innocent, who is guilty. It's whose lawyer is best. It's who can argue best. It's who can convince the jurors beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think lawyers are great liars. But I say that to say this, okay? I say that to say this. The jurors did go home. We cannot say that they were not influenced, although still very disingenuous, and Elaine is being super, like, unprofessional. Like, you're basically saying that the jurors did not do the job that they were supposed to do, and I don't think she should be saying that on the internet.
A break in the middle because of the judicial conference. There's no way they couldn't have been influenced by it. And it was horrible. It really, really
I agree with her
was
on this
lopsided. And I appreciate your saying that. It's like the Roman Colosseum, you know, how they viewed this whole case. I was against cameras in the courtroom, and I went on record with that and had argued against it because of the sensitive nature of this. But it made it a zoo.
Does your client want to appeal?
Oh,
guys, I don't think they should have had this televised either. Like, why would you do that? That is their personal life. Why would you want to televise it so that people can... Do you know how many people have made millions of dollars? Do you know the amount of dollars that have been made from someone's pain? I'm just here to say, this should not have been recorded. No matter the outcome, I agree with Elaine on that one.
absolutely. And she has some excellent grounds for it. We even had tried to get the UK judgment in.
So yeah, she is appealing. We already know that. Well, at least if you watch my channel, then you would have already known that, because I talked about it in the live that we did last night.
To dismiss his case because he already had his shot. And that's one of the issues, but also a number of the evidentiary issues. There was so much evidence that did not come in.
Is she able to pay a $10.4 million judgment?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Finally, in closing arguments, Amber's team argued that this would send a message, that it would send a message that no matter what you do as an abuse victim, you always have to do more. You need to be perfect in order for people to believe you if she did not get a favorable verdict. What message do you think this sends?
It's a horrible message. It's, as I said, a setback. It's a significant setback because that's exactly what it means. Unless you pull out your phone and you video your spouse or your significant other beating you, effectively, you won't be believed.
Elaine, Charles?
Actually, I beg to differ when she says this, because historically, haven't women been believed? Let's talk about R. Kelly, right? Let's talk about Bill Cosby, correct? Let's talk about Ghislaine Maxwell. Let's talk about Jeff Epstein, right? Did any of these people have evidence? I don't recall. It was literally their word. I don't recall any evidence. In fact, I don't even recall any video recordings. So how come it ended favorably for these women? I think for this case, it's just that the jurors did not believe Amber, especially since I even asked on my TikTok, there is no way that we can say that the jurors were not influenced, especially when Elaine's team brought the court of public opinion into the case by using those hashtags that were going around. They could have very easily left that out of the whole case. Now, my 2 cents on this is that, why is Elaine doing interviews? Okay. Now, last I recall, Elaine was like to the TMZ guy, you just want your 15 minutes of fame, correct? And he responds and he's like, so are you? And it seems like Elaine is really taking this. Like, she's taking this, you know, she's going to the blogs, you know, she is talking to people, and it's like, why? I don't think she should be doing this, especially fresh right now. I feel like this has been going on for 6 weeks. You guys should take a break. So yeah.
Excuse us, thank you.
Jamil, what do you think of the girl who got a tattoo of you? A real tattoo. You have a message for her?
And why I'm also saying this is because Camille Vasquez was asked to make a statement about somebody getting a tattoo of her, right? And she literally ignored them and kept walking, kept smiling, right? That shows a level of professionalism that I do not think Elaine has. Elaine could very much easily ignore anybody inviting her for an interview for a while. Like, just let media do its thing and just take a step back. But she is not. Why are you going doing so many interviews the day after? I don't think that's good. But, you know, it is what it is. Y'all let me know down below what your thoughts are. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn your post notifications on so that you're notified every time I post or every time we're going live, because we go live pretty frequently. So yeah. And find me on Instagram at Legally Mundane or TikTok at Mundane Therapy. So yeah. Bye. Case closed.